Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
So tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone. Let me just start my camera there. I'll turn on my light. Welcome. This is going to be kind of a special talk nerdy to us because, for one thing, and I want to see some love for Steph in the chat. She's traveling. She's visiting some friends, so she's not able to be on tonight. But I have Steve Kenobi and one other person I sent the link to who should be hopping on, hopefully in a little bit, to discuss a little movie, a little 4-hour movie that dropped a couple days ago. I'm sure everyone has a rough idea what that movie is, but in case you need a refresher, it's a little thing that has been an imaginary unicorn for about 2+ years until last year of May when it was officially announced the Snyder Cut was going to get released. Pretty much. And before I say hello to the chat, before I allow my wonderful guest, Steve Kenobi, to introduce himself, I want to cover on three really quick things. First off, I don't want to talk about at all what happened during Wednesday's charity stream. I gave my thoughts on the situation on Lyndon's stream. So if you want to hear my thoughts, go watch that on everything that happens. It's basically a coulda, woulda, shoulda at this point. It's easy for people to say what they would have done with 2020 hindsight clarity, but at the same time, it's like this is just about the movie right now, so no discussion of that at all in the chat. If you can't, for some reason, abide by that, at least for the chat, if you can at least be civil, then basically, if any of my mods are in the chat, they have my permission to time you out because I don't want to deal with that right now. 2, this will be a spoiler discussion, so if you have not seen the movie and you don't want spoilers, don't at me because I put spoilers in the title. So, you don't want spoilers? Go watch the movie. Find some time to chunk of 4 hours aside. Watch it, then come back and listen to our thoughts on it. 3, real fast, Becky Browand, if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, I very much apologize. She's a very big supporter of most of the Geeks and Gamers community in the Twitch chats and YouTube chats, things like that. She reached out to me a couple days ago because she wants to start up a charity stream with my help. Once I have all the details, we'll start making that announcement, but it's basically a charity that's near and dear to both of our hearts. It's not going to be any time necessarily soon, so I know a lot of people gave some huge donations to the AFSP, which is very much appreciated. If there's anything to take away from Wednesday, is that this community is awesome no matter what happens. But that's another charity stream that will be happening in the fairly near future, so look for announcements from her or me on that regard. So, with that being said, Steve, hello. Thank you
Hi.
for standing in for Steph for tonight.
Yeah, I'll do my best to make Stephanie proud. Hopefully, I'll succeed 50% at least.
Well, if you can succeed there, then good, because she is my lovely co-host. We're here pretty much every Saturday talking pop culture, and who doesn't want to watch two lovely ladies talking pop culture nowadays? So, but, and just also to preface this, Stieg is one of the biggest DCU normies out there. So, for him to come on and say what he says about this movie, you have the idea of how much well received this movie has been since its official drop on HBO Max. So, let me say hello to the chat, and then we'll go dive in right into the Snyder Cut, everybody. So thank you from the top at 4:31 p.m. Just as about as when I made this live. Teresa Martin, thank you so much. Ms. Martin Muses with a wave and a rose. Thank you very much for being here. If you are back in the chat, Snorta Poopus Cuber. I love that name. Waddles in it. It's in the corner. Very good evening. Very good to see you. Naaman's grins, as always, good to see you. Drunk 3PO's Fedora, hail lovely Mara and my nerdy home and chat. I'm pretty sure, like I said, show love to Steph in the chat. I'm pretty sure if she has a top opportunity, she will be watching, but she was not able to be here. So, but thank you everyone for showing up. Trey Courtney, what up? Snyder Cut is my favorite DCEU movie. That's the impression I'm getting from a lot of people. That's It's taken the number one place in terms of ranking for the DCEU movies. But we'll go into our thoughts on everything once I get through the chat. Dave Myers, good evening, Mara and Steph. Hail, Dave, good to see you. Stunning and Brave Megatron, boobs and butts. Yes, boobs and butts. We got to go into that. Slade Raider, hello, people. Hello, Slade. And speaking of Slade, we talked to Deathstroke himself, Joe Manganiello, and that was like one of the highlights of that stream. Just to have me technically sitting next to Deathstroke. That was awesome. Jaina Solo, Zack Snyder's Justice League has consumed my life for the past few days. I think it's consumed most people's lives for the past few days. Whether like love it or hate it, it's consumed a lot of people's lives. Brian Juarez, hi Mara, sorry I can't stay. I'm watching the Snyder Cut tomorrow with my brother. Don't worry about that. You basically, you had the stream open, so once you have watched it, you can come back in and watch it at your will to see our thoughts on it. So. But thank you for stopping by and leaving a comment. Jeremy 5, Russia approved. Hail Mara and Stieg. Thank you so much for stopping by. Price is Right review. Yo, sup, awesome peeps. Got room for another DC Supes fan. Only curious. Well, we'll see if the other person I sent the link to pops in or not. I know he accepted it, my invitation, but we'll see if he pops on. But I'll keep that in mind for now. Let's see. Dead Punk Gage. Hey, Miss Mara, be careful out there, Steph. Yes, be careful out there. She will be heading back home, I believe, tomorrow. So you'll see her lovely face next weekend. Drew Deck Games. I saw you just followed me on Twitter. Boom. Sorry, Chad jumped on me. I gotta scroll back up, and I followed you back because you are also an awesome supporter of the community. So thank you very much for stopping by. Tim F. Hello. Good evening. Phil TMNT. No snap. Looking extremely beautiful. Mara's the queen. Thank you so much. Hi, Stieg. Like I love how he says hi, Stieg. Well, you're not nearly as beautiful stuff from Mara. But look at that.
Well,
look at that face.
He's not that wrong. Let's put it that way. I happen to agree with him.
Thank you, Drew Deck Games. Thank you so much for tweeting out the stream. Alex McCarthy, howdy, Mara and Stieg. How's it going? Watching Snyder Cut the 5th time. Holy shit, that's like 20 hours, dude. God,
it's been non-stop since it came out.
Yeah, I watched it once. I'm not saying that like it was like a one and done experience. It's just I find time to just sit down and watch like one or two parts at a time. But more power to you. 5th fucking time. Good evening. And Miss Martin Muses is back in the chat. Hail, Teresa. Let's see, making sure I say hello to everyone who has shown up. I don't want to miss anyone. Do they explain why Martian Manhunter just hangs around and not help in any way during both? Look, I have a bone of contention with people who bring that up because I think that's a nitpick. I think that's a nitpick because up to that point, you have a Kryptonian, a literal god, who's now helping save Metropolis and Gotham. And up to that point, I don't think he's had really to reveal himself because there hasn't really been any alien invasion. Zod never showed up until Man of Steel. You didn't have Doomsday show up until BVS, and now he's realizing, like Batman, I have a stake in this world. I've had a stake in this world for years, and it's time I actually start fighting for it. Batman was the same way in Justice League. The epiphany. I now like this is world. Not just me, not just fighting for Gotham is important to me. That's why I had to form the Justice League. So I take that as a nitpick.
Well, if he didn't know what was going on exactly in this movie anyway. He didn't know they were going to Russia or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's like, he wasn't exactly part of the Justice League, and even if you're like, well, why wasn't he there? Well, then why wasn't Wonder Woman helping during World War II or the Korean War or Vietnam War? Like, she basically stayed out of helping save humanity in like on a big scale for 100 years. She literally says that in BVS. So if you're going to nitpick that, then nitpick like Wonder Woman not helping humanity for that long. Ms. Marmisa says, I'm seeing some reviews and comments elsewhere from folks that I think don't know what they're talking about. Some of them, yeah. Some of them, and the music is very beautiful. I love the Amazon's Lament for playing during when Wonder Woman's fighting. People have nitpicked that as well, but there's a reason why.
That one, I picked up on that one. It's because she's fighting for her sisters, isn't it?
Yeah, she's fighting for her sisters that she was not able to be there to help. But like I said, we'll get into that. All that after I say hello. Bad-tempered badger. Good evening. Don't call me. Ian Levinson, Flash went from being the worst part of Justice League to one of the best parts, yes, of Zack Snyder's Justice League. He felt more like the Flash in Zack Snyder's movie than he did in Justice League. Jedi Luki, Hail Mara, saw 3 times as of today. Again, Godspeed, that's 12 hours. More power to you. People who are able to sit down and watch it that many times. I saw it once. I very much enjoyed it. And I also joined the army. Yes, he joined the army. He was fighting. Not in the same way as a superhero, but he was fighting. So there it is. Let's see. Janus Solo. 5th watch later tonight. Good God, people. But more power to you. So the biggest thing that Snyder Cut did for me was take the Flash and not make me hate him. There you go. There you go. So I've said hello to everyone in the chat. So before we go into like specifics about the movie, Stieg, what are your overall impressions?
Well, like you said, I'm a normie.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I used to read Batman and Superman when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but that was in the 80s. I watched most of the CBS shows. Watched Gotham. I watched all the Batman and Superman, and all the DC movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I played the Arkham games to death. So that's pretty much my DC experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did not like Batman versus Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that movie. I didn't even like the director's cut. But I sat down and watched this one, and I thought it was probably the best DC movie I've ever seen. There was nothing wrong with it. The writing was spot on. It had some cool twists.
Mm-hmm.
Some foreshadowing paid off. And as far as I could tell, all of the characters were treated with respect. They got pretty much an equal amount of screen time, with the obvious exception of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them got to shine. But they didn't get to shine, like a badass moment like they usually get in, the Avengers or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk gets to smash something or whatever. They all got a shining moment or two in a way that also fit the narrative, I thought.
Yes.
So
you
it wasn't
really
just
need a big action moment to have a shining moment with these characters.
Yeah,
I think
so. I thought they were all treated well, and personally, I'd say Cyborg and the Flash surprised me the most, because arguably the best characters on Cyborg at least was the best character in the movie.
Well, Zack Snyder has said that Cyborg was, and we saw it with the release, the heart of at least this part of Justice League. I don't know whether or not he's able to continue, because it was supposed to be 3.
Yeah, he wasn't lying about that. I mean, Cyborg was vital.
Yes, and like this. That's the thing. I mean, I'm pretty like, you've seen Justice League, and not when I say this, I'm not holding it against you, but you overall enjoyed it. But like, you're coming from like a normie viewpoint, so like, So, but like, at the same time, it's like you saw how the characterizations of Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman even in that movie compared to this one.
I think even if you're a normie, if you understand writing, you can tell when the writing is done well.
Yes.
No matter the franchise, right? And this was, good writing, and movies are storytelling. That's what it is.
They're basically visual books, for one of a better way of putting it. And if it's told well, then
it was told well, and it was shown well. And the music, like Teresa said in the chat, was great.
Hominis Nocturna, I stand with Jade. Thank you so much. All for one, one for all. Together we stand, together we fall. Pretty much. So thank you so much for that. Corey Cochran, hi all. David Blair, hello. Cue Ball, hello. Epstein's Ghost, I stand with Gina and Jade. Thank you so much. It was awesome hearing the Man of Steel music again. Man of Steel music again. I agreed, like that, basically First Flight 2.0. I love that scene. Jane and Sola, I was mind blown how they had Flash literally restore time with each step. I was expecting a CW-esque open a portal back in time thing, absolutely filled with joy in that moment. Yes, pretty much. Basically, like you saw him when he was like running so fast, he was turning back time. You saw like whatever exploded was like coming back into place. $5 super chat from the Price is Right review. Thank you so much. I'll say this much: I loved hearing the Man of Steel flying music when Superman arrived. I was cheering seeing Superman just cut loose on Steppenwolf. Agreed. Sorry.
Oh yeah, he beat the shit out of him.
Jeff the Iron Wolf, thank you so much for stopping by. Sup Jade, sup Jeff. And Darian Murphy, hey Jade Shadow, been waiting to hear your thoughts. Well, here are my thoughts. I basically decided to do this portion like more as a live stream discussion than just doing a first impressions video on this. And $4.99 super chat from Drunk 3PO. Thank you so much. I like Mara. Thank you so much, Drunk 3PO. If you want to come on, I can shoot you the link. Because I know you said you were going to watch it, but we'll see. If let me know in the chats what you want to do. But so let's dive into the movie. Like we're not going to touch on everything because we only have so much time. But let's see, basically it starts on essentially reintroducing the characters we know, fixing some scenes that were rewritten and let's put it this way, butchered. I do have love for you. But I'm waiting for someone that I don't want to highlight your comment, Drunk. I'm waiting for someone that I originally invited in. So I'm trying to keep it. So if anybody does want to jump on and give their thoughts on the movie, if you've seen the movie, that's the discussion for this.
I know for a fact that Drunk 3PO, his toilet is clogged, so he can't use it. So he's currently using a sock.
Anyway, part 1 is entitled "Don't Count on It, Batman," and that is what Aquaman says to Bruce Wayne when Bruce Wayne is trying to recruit him, because Bruce Wayne tries to track him down first. And I know you had a slight, not that with the language portion of it. I remember you talked to me about it.
Yeah, well, which country is it supposed to take place in?
They really don't say. They just basically say Icelandic village. So
okay,
so it's not really any specific country.
Well, the people in Iceland does not dress like they're from medieval times. That's one thing, and every second word they say is not Norwegian, which was kind of what I saw in that movie. There was like Scandinavian. Mm-hmm. It was like a mix of all kinds of Scandinavian stuff and gibberish.
I think that one was setting it in a reasonably a believable locale without having to
Yeah, but the clothing though, I mean, it's that's what people dressed in the 1800s. Not today. Iceland is very very advanced. It's except for the way the country itself looks, it's not that different from the United States.
So,
and they do that shit in the Marvel movies too. Every time they do in Norway stuff for Thor, it's like, no, that's not Norway.
I mean, it's one of those situations where it's I can see where you're coming from, and I'm not trying to necessarily dispute it or anything, but at the same time, it's how whenever they do comic book movies or certain settings, they make it believable enough, but at the same time, it's not exactly realistic.
Yeah, it's I'm not complaining about that. I'm actually used to it, so I'm not gonna act all offended. But if you're actually from those places they portray, for the most part, you'll go, yeah, that's not what it looks like.
Subhuman Raid, thank you, Orange Hat. Good to see you. Man, Steph looks like Stieg today. Yes. Sounds like Stieg too.
Yes.
I'm going to give it about another 8 minutes before I start sending the link out to other people. So just if anybody wants to pop on, let me know. Because the guy I sent the link to is not showing up just yet. But so
Maybe he's with Steph.
No. No. What was I going to say? Oh, so basically, like I mentioned Aquaman early on and how I wasn't a fan of his portrayal in Justice League because they basically reduced him to surfer dude comic relief. And I'm like, no, that's the future king of Atlantis that you're setting up. And this will like be touched on like a little further down in the discussion when we go further into the movie. But there are moments where like he actually shows that he's incredibly intelligent with a classical literature background.
You know what?
And-
If any of the characters got the short end of the stick in this, it kind of was Aquaman.
Kind of.
Because I wanted more Aquaman, but I felt I got everything I needed from the other ones.
Kind of, yes, but like this was, in a way, not necessarily setting up his own movie because it's not technically part of the Snyderverse, but it was in a way like the focus was sort of on him, but also Flash and Cyborg because he was setting them up so we could see their arcs along with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman throughout the what was supposed to be a trilogy. Deej Odyssey, Hail Jade Shadow, Hail Stig. Thank you for stopping by. DJ Odyssey. That's what I know. Remember you as, but now you're Deej Odyssey, so I have to figure that out. So, and you actually see him kind of be pretty much a badass because he actually tries fighting Steppenwolf when Steppenwolf was coming after the Mother Box in Atlantis, which we didn't see in Justice League. Justice League, he's pretty much stays out of the picture until I can't remember when he actually shows up. I repressed that movie again, but we don't see that. I don't remember his like seeing him like do that, but at the same time he might have. I don't know. So there it is. Equipping DJ Odyssey. Okay, so I don't know, like basically, like I think it's like trying like not touch on the characters necessarily too much so we can go into the plot. What did you think about Flash's introduction in this movie?
Pretty straightforward. I thought it was good that they had that stuff with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I thought I don't know, okay introduction. You get to see his powers and all, and then I thought the later half was much better for that character than the beginning. Does that make sense?
Well, I think like basically the later half for like the movie in general for the characters is better because the first, I say third to a half, is setting up the formation of the Justice League.
Yeah,
we didn't see them at their peaks until about later on in the movie.
Yeah, the first stuff was basically where you got the most from the original movie, right? Mm-hmm. And then I don't understand how people can say it's the same movie because the first one was 2 hours. This is 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. They're saying that because there are scenes in this movie that did appear in a way in Justice League, but those are also scenes that were either completely reshot in a way or a Frankenstein mash of Zack Snyder's dialogue and Joss Whedon bringing the cast back in to film different lines in that same scene. So it's like that's where you can kind of like see similarities, but at the same time, it's
it was different. Yes. It was way more fleshed out, way more character motivations, way more depth, and the tone was completely different.
Good evening, Subhuman. There's a lot more backstory in the Snyder Cut. Yes, a lot more. Basically, like first roughly half is a slow burn, but that's building up backstory to not only the formation of the Justice League and the characters, but also Steppenwolf's interest on this planet, Darkseid's interest on this planet. Why is Steppenwolf doing what he's doing? And we will get into that when we touch on the history lesson parts.
Well, it was kind of like the first one that Joss Whedon did felt like a comic, a 20-page comic, while this felt like a novel.
Drew That Games, my favorite part of the Snyder Cut was Superman as when he was in the field with Lois and his mom. Yes.
Very corny.
Very much agreed. Let's put it this way. I'll always be a Batman stan. Batman is my favorite character, will always be my favorite DC character. But I did love those little moments with Superman as Clark Kent when he's at the farm with Lois and he's standing at the window and he's like, his memory's coming back after being regenerated, and he's like, it's like I love being here, and he's remembering, like the happy moments he had with his family growing up on the farm and things, and living there and things like that. So you see that little bit of humanity coming back to, at that time he was still Kal-El, but he was regaining his memories as Clark Kent in that moment. He says, yes, it's a 4-hour novel, and it's epic, pretty much. The only part that didn't make sense was at the end, Bruce taking Martian Manhunter at face value. Don't think Brucey would do that so quickly. I will give you that. Bruce Wayne is technically, he's not the most trusting, as Batman, not the most trusting of individuals. Just case in point. Anybody who knows anything about the Justice League itself knows that Batman keeps files on all of the members. So in case any of the members goes rogue, he knows how to take out each member. For example, their weaknesses, Superman's Kryptonian, and so forth.
I kind of got the impression that it was tied to Batman, relying on faith a bit.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's tied to that because he has that dialogue with Alfred, where he says, I'm more acting on faith now.
Yeah, and plus he had just witnessed an army of, what's could only be described as space demons.
Well, they're parademons, but they're pretty much kind of like that, but parademons. So basically, like after that fight, and you have looks to be another alien, just as powerful as Superman, flying down onto your property, going, I want to help you fight. You're not exactly going to be turning him away necessarily right at that moment. So we'll see. But good morning, the Fixer from the UK. Thank you for stopping by. He isn't a faith kind of guy, but at the same time, it's like with Martian Manhunter saying this, he's like, he's realizing that there's more to, like, he basically has to, I don't want to say learn to work with others, but realizing that he can't do it on his own, and sometimes realizing that you can't do it on your own does take a little bit of faith in those who are fighting alongside with you. Pretty much. That's how I would put it. That's why it did not exactly bother me as much. But I do see where you're coming from, because Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, is not the most trusting. And yes, the person I invited shows up.
What's up, Jade? Wow. Had a clock malfunction on my side. Yeah. But we're here. Talking about the Snyder Cut.
All right. So this is Scylla Abdul, as you can see, basically. Introduce yourself real fast, and then just give your overall impressions of the Snyder Cuts as a whole.
Yes, well, yeah. Of Scylla Abdul Inc. I am hardcore DC Snyder, so it's probably why Jade thought to have me come in on this conversation. But no, I've made it clear this is probably Zach's best film he's put together. To be quite honest, it has some of everything in this film. Callbacks to Man of Steel, the progression of Batfleck, introducing Cyborg. It's so much in this film. It's ridiculous, and you kind of needed all 4 hours, to get this whole story. So crazy.
I will give you that. I think it, like, I was talking with one of my friends, Lyndon, and I think it could have been trimmed up here and there, but I'm not saying trimmed to the point where it's like reduced it down to by an hour or something. Just like little bits here and there, I think could have been cleaned up for certain scenes. But at the same time, it's once it picked up, it did not feel like a 4-hour movie. And I love how he split it up. I love how he splits it into parts. So, and Godspeed to the people in my chat, like I said, who has watched it multiple times now. I've watched it once. I was lucky to get the 4 hours in when I did. But he split it into parts, so you can watch maybe part 1, part 2, then stop and then pick up at part 3. So it makes it easy, real fast. I don't know Darian Murphy. I don't know who that skeleton in the Kryptonian ship was. I think it was just basically a Kryptonian. There's really unless that's supposed to be
Voyager.
Yeah, unless that's supposed to be like an Easter egg where we find out in the subsequent sequels if they ever get made.
Possibly.
I think it's just hey, this Kryptonian didn't exactly make it because something malfunctioned. And didn't.
Maybe it was Joss Whedon.
Oh yeah, maybe Joss Whedon. Mon, I loved it when Alfred greeted Superman as Master Kent. Yes, I loved it, Master Kent. I can't do a British accent.
Jeremy Irons is a win. Yeah, he's a win.
You know what the best scene he had was when he was basically mansplaining to Wonder Woman how to make tea.
Oh,
I thought that was an excellent scene.
He's I love Jeremy Irons as Alfred. He basically just comes over, still prim and proper, and he's no, this is how you make tea, woman. This is how the British make tea. Pretty much, you gotta get it
done.
You gotta.
Yeah, and she was nodding and basically almost getting chastised.
Yeah, she was like, "Fuck off," but
he literally told Wonder Woman what to do in the kitchen.
Pretty much.
It was a call out to Man of Steel. I just don't know who that was. There was really no indication that there's any Kryptonian in particular that it would be worth noting, other than just hey, so there's a callback and this is one that didn't make it.
Yeah, it's like they tried to explore that world before or something. That's what it looked like.
Mm-hmm. So you gave your overall impressions, and we really did not get this far into our discussion, but I was out talking to Steve about basically, I think the 3 biggest ones that got the shaft in Justice League, and that's Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg in particular, because Cyborg is supposed to be part of Justice League. So before we get into Cyborg, what are your thoughts on basically Aquaman and Flash's introduction and how the characters changed from Justice League to Zach's version?
No, definitely. And I'll nominate a 4th person, Steppenwolf, was shafted too. But yeah, Aquaman, that was not the Aquaman in the Aquaman film, that we saw in this film. I mean, even though he had some witty, it's Jason Momoa, right? So he doesn't have that type of range anyway, but he was more straight lined in the Snyder Cut. And then James Wan had him making pee jokes, in his film. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. Flash was my impression of Ezra Miller quadrupled watching this film. I thought Zach handled him perfectly in this film. The setup was great. I liked the whole musical thing to it. Zach was really doing a lot of motifs in this film where it wasn't a lot of dialogue. It was just music score, showing him save Iris. So Flash was great. He was kind of the MVP of the film, him and Cyborg at the end. You don't win today without them two. And of course Superman, destroying Steppenwolf. But so yeah, the Flash was great. I will be looking forward to the Flash film more if I didn't know Warner Bros. Was still screwing Ray Fisher. It kind of kills the hype for the Flash film, but Ezra Miller was great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, even before this movie was released, I was saying that I was going to give particularly Ezra Miller a chance because I wanted to see what Zack Snyder was going to give us, because I don't believe that was the version we were supposed to get in the cut that we got in theaters. It did not. There were moments where it came across as the Flash, but those were few and far between. Everything else was just, no, it's not something Flash would do. It's not something the Flash would say. That's not, it's obvious that this was a director, this was a writer who did not have good enough, at least, understanding of the character. Now, say what you will about Zack Snyder and your impressions of his understanding of the characters. That's all subjective, but at the same time, it's Joss Whedon definitely did not have any understanding
what
of the characters.
What he was doing. He should steer clear from any DC label, period. You saw what he did to Superman. Just start the movie off. I know we're not talking about Justice League, so I don't want to backtrack the conversation on that. But
He did hold. I will give you that. He did hold Flash back some, but at the same time, again, this is a movie that was a setup. A setup for was supposed to be 2 sequels.
Mhm.
So you're not going to get all of what
Well,
you want.
I'm going to challenge that because at the end,
Mhm.
like he
Well, at the
was
end, no.
in the
At the end,
Speed Force.
Yeah.
Like,
At the end, no.
Yeah.
But if he's
Yeah.
coming from like a point where he's like, I would have liked to see more Flash, I will give you that, like a little bit more because. But again, this is a setup. This is a setup.
Exactly.
This is a setup. We're not going to necessarily see them.
Jeff
their
gets
peak.
it. He gets it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the movie like a day before everyone else.
Yeah.
Because
he
reasons.
found the leak. He found the leak.
Oh, really?
He's tormenting me.
I found the leak and I couldn't help myself.
Hope you didn't share it though. I mean, it's cool if you watch.
No, I actually did not share it.
That's good. Good
but
on you.
I'm a normie when it comes to DC, and so I just sat down and watched it. But I have been speaking to Mara and others that are Snyder fans about this for a while. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there, thinking back, these people were saying all they want is an okay movie that makes sense and this and that. And I just started laughing because this isn't just an okay movie. This is like the Return of the King for DC movies. It really was. So I was sending some teasing to Mara and stuff, and I was like, "You guys don't know what you're in for. You seriously don't."
Explain that. You make that reference of Return of the King. I'm not huge on Lord of the Rings, so just if you can explain that.
It won 13 Oscars, didn't it? So something like that.
So you telling me to shut up? I was playing.
No, it's.
I was playing with you.
Yeah, I don't even like the Snyder movies that much. I think he's okay. I really like 300 and Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, everyone likes Dawn of the Dead. Everyone that asks. Yeah.
I thought Watchmen was pretty good. I thought Man of Steel was good. Did not like Batman versus Superman.
Like BVS. I knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
I just didn't. But it might grow on me now, though, once I've seen this. But this one, I gave it a 10 out of 10, and I wasn't even exaggerating or anything. I thought this was. I'm buying it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, like when you have a normie saying this,
right? That's how I knew, because a week ago, I talked to a hardcore Marvel. He's like a Marvel fanboy, like a Marvel zombie. Like he eats and breathes Marvel, and he saw the Snyder Cut early, and he's a journalist, and he was just like, "You have no idea what you about to see." Like he's like, "This is like an opus." Like he was like just fawning over this film. So I was like, okay. I was like, it's gonna be good. If you got Marvel, normies, so to speak, praising it, it's gonna be a great film across the board. So
I just want to say thank you to Jack of All Casuals for becoming a member of my channel. Thank you so much. And I need to get off my butt and actually do stuff as far as I remember to go.
I gotta think of member stuff to do. Yeah, I mean, I'm not at that point yet, but I gotta think of it.
Yeah, and right after I was thinking, after I've seen it, I was like, the people at Warner Bros. That screw this up, someone needs to get fired for this, because this is like,
oh man,
it's like someone having screwed up The Empire Strikes Back or something, right?
Yes, yes. I mean, that's crazy because like at Still Abdul Inc. Not to plug myself too much, but I make fun of Warner Brothers like almost every other video, how they screwed up the decision making, and how do you hold off this film, like what you saw as a self-proclaimed normie? Yeah. Why would you wait 4 years for people to watch this? It makes no sense.
Like I said earlier, movies are storytelling. It's like a book, so the writing has to be good, and the writing was spot on in this.
Yeah.
Real fast, a $3.50 super chat from Open Air Log Policy, who will also be on the Geek Plans channel at midnight my time for the high ground. Mara isn't technically tall enough to be an Amazon. No, I'm only 5'2", so I'm tall enough to be a dwarf, and that's about it. I give Snyder Cut 10 out of 10, according to QP Malik. Thank you so much.
What's up, Malik?
Hey, Mara. Hey,
Malik.
Richard. Thank you for stopping by. So basically, I think like I said, the big three that I think received the biggest shaft, so to speak, in Justice League were Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash.
Mhm.
I
Well,
do also
the
think
villain
that
too.
Superman. Excuse me.
The villain too. He got really
Steppenwolf.
shafted.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we'll get into
Yeah.
Steppenwolf. I'm saying of the Justice League, the
Mhm.
three big ones were those, and even Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman.
Oh my!
They got the shaft a little bit
They
too.
got
in Justice
diluted.
League.
They got heavily diluted.
Yes. So Trey Courtney saying that he'd give it a 10 out of 10.
10, really?
No,
Oh,
9
wow.
out of 10. Yes, you're a foot
I
taller.
gave it a
Everyone's
9.
taller than me. I'm 5'2". Come on. Everyone's taller than me.
I use the
Yeah.
metric system, so I wouldn't know.
I want you to review objectively 7 out of 10, subjectively around 9 out of 10 for him. I give it actually probably give it like 8 point, like trimming it here and there, like 8.5, 9 out of 10. Like it's really close to
that's
perfection
solid.
for me.
That's realistic. I mean, like I said, I'm hardcore DC Snyder. Like Malik in the chat, he knows how hardcore I am. You got a few people that knows how hardcore I am in the chat right now, but I give it a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously though, I give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
So, and Jeff, the almost objectively like gives it 6 out of 10. Like it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone.
It's still fresh.
So,
It's still fresh, Jeff.
Yeah, it's still fresh. Yeah, we'll say it's still a fresh score. It's still a fresh score. So, your wife is about this height of my sister because my sister's about 4'11" too. I'm like basically 3 inches taller than my sister.
Where do you live?
What?
Is everyone's short? Where do you live?
I'm not going to say. We'll just say that I got my mom's genes on that in that regard because she's short as well. So we'll just go with that.
Did one of them take a ring to Mordor?
Well, I do have Gimli's axe, so there you go. So
Okay.
I was there,
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
So awesome. That's nerd cred right there.
there you go. Biggest problem, and like Jeff has told me, this biggest problem he has is no Green Lantern, which I can see for people. Because Green Lantern is a big part of the Justice League. So if he's a favorite and he's not in like the core formation of the Justice League, it does like lose points for some people. So I will do see
you detract the movie for that. Okay.
I mean, for some people, I could
because you want the core JL.
Yeah.
I get it.
You want the core.
You gotta take the film for what it is, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have I seen the EFAP say that? Wow, Justice League is 2017 is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League? No, I've not. But then again,
I haven't heard anyone say that. But I heard someone say like, "Oh, there's like a happy medium between Justice League and the Snyder Cut," and I was like, "No, I'm not feeling that. Not feeling that." No medium.
She has like a long list now of.
I have a long list of groups that I want to use against him.
Yeah, she has like.
Oh, really? I must have missed some of that.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing it for a while. But to be fair, she does stab back quite viciously.
Oh, no, yeah.
Munchkin
Mara,
Land,
yeah.
Probably a little Munchkin Land.
That's why I like Mara, because she would give it back to you.
Frank the Bunny, when I think back on it, I give it an 8 out of 10. Some of the scenes and music needed tweaking. I will agree there, but as I'm watching it, it's 9 out of 10. Yeah, so.
I heard a lot of criticism with the music. Like, I like the whole Aquaman tribute song. I liked that. The Icelandic chant, it's like a dirge for Aquaman. I thought that was great, but some people didn't like it.
I think my favorite score, there's so many, I don't exactly know the names of them all, but I will be eventually be getting the soundtrack to this movie. I was waiting for the movie to come out so I could see where each track was in the movie. But I think if I were to gun to my head, favorite score is Amazon's Lament.
Wonder Woman, yeah.
Amazon's Lament.
It's an interpolation of Wonder Woman. The Amazons, that's the best. If you see Amazon's a Wonder Woman in battle mode, the entire film, that's the best score in the film. It's ridiculous. I love Wonder Woman though, so I'm biased on that. So.
I liked how they used the Wonder Woman theme to begin with, but after the Amazons had lost, her theme became the Amazon theme. I thought that was a nice touch.
Speaking of Wonder Woman, we'll get into Cyborg just a bit later because he is the heart of Justice League and his big parts come up closer to the end of the film. But Speaking of Wonder Woman, one of the critiques I've seen, and I say critique very loosely because I don't know where people are coming from, but like the scene where we see her save those people at the beginning that we also saw in Justice League, save those people, and getting rid of the bomb and so forth. And big problem that some people have had, I'm not calling out anyone in particular, but that they don't like the fact that she killed bad guys.
I love that. What are we talking about here?
They equate. There was a tweet I saw where someone posted a picture of. You remember the little girl says, "Can I be like you?"
Right.
Wonder Woman, and the text from Wonder Woman is, "Daughter of Zeus, no, but anyone can be a murderer."
Wow.
Anyway, I mean,
Come on
basically, if killing bad guys is equivalent to murder, then disband the military right now. Disband law enforcement right now. I mean,
exactly. If we're gonna go all the way with, if you're gonna go there, go all the way with it, But people don't want to do that. They just want to, Yeah.
She killed people in the first movie too, the same way at the airport at the end.
I love seeing like the residual. And Zach does this when someone flies against the wall, he shows blood. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Zach does. And they had that classic Wonder Woman.
Thank you. She had no time to waste to get rid of the bomb. So
she had to dispatch them as quickly as possible, right? Mm-hmm. And you heard that original BVS Wonder Woman song mixed in there as well, which I thought was cool. Mm-hmm. Hey, people had to die. You just try to people.
That final guy she killed, that was the bastard who stabbed Robb Stark on Game of Thrones. Of course,
so he deserved it just for that.
He had to go.
But the way I see it, just thinking logically here, there were 3 things that she could have done, and one of them is including what we saw in the movie, basically. First possibility would have been she goes straight for the bomb to get rid of the bomb. Well, she does that. She leaves the innocent civilians there to be gunned down by all the bad guys there. So that's out. She's not going to do that. Second thing that she could have done, and I've seen people argue that like she was blocking bullets anyway, why not do that? Well, the bomb had less than 10 seconds on it before it was about to go off. You think she's going to waste time blocking all those bullets to get to the bomb? Again,
right.
And let's say she blocks all the bullets, but just barely gets to the bomb. Well, guess what? The civilians die, the bad guys die, and a block radius, people at the very least would get injured.
Right.
So guess what? I'm sorry, third option. She throws bad guys against the wall and ends up killing them. I don't have a problem with that.
And really, if you rewatch it, I think she only really killed 2 of them. I'm just saying she disarmed and kind of but one of them I know died for sure because I saw the blood splat. And then the last guy, when she does the bracelet thing, he's like evaporated. I don't know where he is.
You always know his hat, basically. So like, he's no more, basically.
Yeah, he's like,
But like the assumption is like the assumption is that she killed them at the same time. It's like she's throwing them around. So who's to say that they're not just alive and just like unconscious?
Yeah,
on the ground.
Yeah, and well, my one gripe with that isn't that she killed the bad guy. It's the fact that when she blew out the walls, there's people below that she could have killed. So she could have killed police officers or whatever with debris. So that bit was a bit careless. But
a little bit careless, but
she had to get
kind of depicted that way, right? Wasn't it kind of depicted like an unperfect attempt? That's kind of how it showed, that's how I saw it. I was like, okay, she kind of went overboard at the end, and then she kind of had a moment of reflection. Then she's like, okay, let's make sure that the kids are safe.
Yeah, and I haven't read many Wonder Woman comics. I've probably read 5 in the 90s. I'm not even sure if they were from the 90s, but in one of them, she chopped the head of a lady. I mean, she uses a sword and a shield. I mean, what does swords do? They chop things and stab, right?
I don't know what people's issues are, but
I think it was Medusa. She chopped the head of Medusa.
There you go. Oh. Mikey Gussler, what I've heard from EFAP is that, quote, well, how come she didn't kill all those other guys, but that one and she should be considered other cops below? I mean, I'm not exactly following that, but I mean, she does have to be considered other cops, basically. And so bad guys versus cops. Yes, it was overboard what she did for the last one, but at the same time, it's like she's not exactly going to be inconsiderate of the cops because those are good guys. Those are good guys. So,
Right.
so there it is. She should have come in with a sword and shield. All subjective. All subjective. Yes, she does have her sword and
Isn't that interesting?
Shield, so
it's interesting. She didn't come in with the sword. I mean, that is interesting in that first scene. So
it would have been awesome if she did that and just decapitated a bunch of people and there's blood everywhere.
Yeah,
like blood spraying on the kids and all.
And then Pat Jenkins saw that. She was like, "Oh, I can make a whole film with her without a sword."
So if they had issues with her like throwing people against the wall, like let's give you something really to complain about here. Sword swinging. Who's to say Flash wasn't saving them with time to brush the hair out of their eyes?
Yeah, when he saved Iris, he was admiring Iris, because they had a moment, locking eyes. So it's like, I get it, I think he was socially awkward. That's how I took his character. He was socially awkward. He had a chance to kind of admire Iris. Maybe it came off a little creepy.
Well, because of the because you saw his reaction, like once, like it actually time reverted to normal speed, and he's like,
now she knows.
Now she knows. JM 2021 Ares chopped the hell out of Darkseid in that war battle scene. Yes, we'll touch on the history lesson scene, but Ares there.
Oh,
badass in that scene.
Ares is a G. Yes, love that.
$10 super chat from Mikey again. The other complaint I hear from EFAP is that Darkseid forgot about Earth, including the mother boxes, and how come he didn't know the anti-life was on Earth when he was there? Well,
that's a fair criticism. Actually, that actually is fair.
Well, he might not have known about it.
But you're talking about the entire multiverse. That's what people are kind of forgetting with Darkseid. He's not just sitting there thinking about Earth, like, oh, I caught an L on Earth. He's not thinking about that. But he got reminded.
Wasn't on Earth that long.
Right,
so
right,
he
exactly.
might not have known what was on it.
Yeah, and it took Steppenwolf coming back and going, "It's here."
Exactly. That's how I took it.
I can see the criticism, but at the same time, it's like it's at the same like Sieg pointed out. Well, he wasn't exactly there on Earth for long enough to maybe figure that out because always saw a history lesson where he's invading.
He was kind of moving. He was moving along like Earth to Earth. Like you heard the sentence of Steppenwolf, he needed 50,000 worlds. So I'm just saying they're thinking bigger than our earthly minds. I'm just trying to let you know. No level. Who's saying no spoilers in the chat? Y'all haven't seen Snyder Cut yet?
Well, I do have spoilers in the title, so if you don't want spoilers, leave the chat now. We haven't really touched on any major spoilers as of yet, but come back and watch. If you don't
Mara tells me, I'm going full spoiler. As soon as you let me know.
So, well, I do have spoilers in the chat. I did say early on in the stream, the spoilers are in the chat, so in the title. So don't at me in the chat. If you don't want spoilers, go watch the movie.
It's been out for. It's been out since Thursday.
I can feel that.
That is Artemis that you see shooting the arrows in the history lesson scene. That's Artemis, and the arrow that Diana finds, or that's shot by Hippolyta that Diana finds.
Hippolyta. I guess they saved their culture saved like a sacred arrow, or maybe many of Artemis, and you saw her in action in the history lesson, which is cool. That's pretty cool to see.
Actually, when they fired the arrow, it was probably to make Diana get the point.
Yeah.
If you don't know,
Sil, tipped her off.
He's a pun master, so
he's
Yeah, she got shafted.
She got the point.
Anyway, so I forgot where my train of thought was. What was it? So we talked about a little about Aquaman. We talked a little about the Flash.
Did you like Aquaman?
Jay? I will say this. I would have liked to see a little bit more of him, but his portrayal. I was telling Steve this before he came on that I loved how he still had the same demeanor in a way that you saw.
It's Jason Momoa.
Yeah, like with Justice League and so forth, and even a little bit into the Aquaman solo movie, but at the same time, he's dropping he shows beneath his gruff exterior that he actually does care, because there's one moment where Cyborg has said, Yeah, you're like,
After he
I
lost
will
his
do this.
father.
Lost his father, but I will do this because I'm the only one who can do this. And we'll touch on that with the
Mhm.
mother boxes.
Okay.
And Aquaman is talking to the Flash, and he's saying, we're asking this kid to risk
Mhm.
everything, pretty much. Like you see in that moment, like he
Because before that point, he was doubting Cyborg.
yeah, he was
right?
doubting. Yeah, he was doubting Cyborg,
Yeah.
and he was even keeping everyone at arm's length. Like
Mhm.
his fellow
Mhm.
Atlanteans, everyone is keeping them at
Even
arm's
Superman,
length.
he's like, I don't
Yeah,
want to bring
like, I don't
Superman
want,
back.
yeah, I don't want like any part of you. But at the same time, it's like you see like beneath that
Yeah.
demeanor,
Mhm.
that wall he puts up because of like we
Mhm.
find out later on the Soul movie what happens with his mother and so
Got some
forth.
mommy issues.
Yeah. That like beneath that he like this is an actual hero that does care. Like he does care, and he's dropping these like almost poetic lines and demonstrating that he does have a classical knowledge of literature, because we say like his father brought him up on classical literature. So like he's not the surfer
Right.
dude from Justice League.
He's not. He's not the
He's an
surfer
intelligent
dude.
man.
Yeah. It was more like girth to his character, and I did like that development, like you said. When he at first he was like say arm length. That's a great way to say it. Arm length with everyone. Cyborg like, oh, bro, a mother box made you, right? So he's like, I don't know where's your allegiance, bro? So I get that. And then when he saw the human nature, because he's still half human, I think that's when he kind of like bought into the team.
Mhm.
And I don't want to track what you're going to say next, but if you realize in Justice League, he didn't join the team on the rooftop like 2017 depicted him coming in laughing, saying, "Oh, dressed like a bat." No, he joined him at the tunnel scene because he was about to get like obliterated by water at that point. So very cool what Zach was doing with that character again. Everyone didn't just team up out of nowhere. So that was pretty cool to see that. Yeah.
Yes. And that scene, I think probably, one, this version actually, I should say the original cut that we should have gotten, not just this version, but Batman's actually a badass. He's blocking shots from the parademons, and you
with
know
a
that
gauntlet?
it's gauntlets that Alfred himself,
yes,
like
It's all in the
made.
wrist.
Why wouldn't you give us that 4 years ago, Warner Brothers? I'm just saying. I'm ranting all next week.
But again, it's like another little moment from Alfred where Cyborg gets into the crawler, and he goes, "I'll take it from here." And Alfred's like, "Do I know you?"
Yeah, like who the fuck is this guy? Like, what? But Cyborg's like on that level, like you didn't know.
Would you agree if I said the actor who played Cyborg was probably the best actor in the movie?
He was the best actor. Like there were scenes where I was more worried about what he was going to say than Ben Affleck, and I was like, "Whoa, like what's going on here?" Because like I love Ben Affleck, and like as far as him as an actor, and it's like when Ray Fisher's commanding a scene, that's letting you know something.
Yeah, and he was stealing scenes from these very good, very experienced actors, and that's not an easy thing to do.
It's not a small task. It's like Gal Gadot's like an international star now, and like Ray Fisher was still in scenes from her. That's a good point to bring up. Yeah.
One thing that bothers me in Aquaman, and granted, I don't remember Aquaman that well. I thought it was an okay movie.
Good popcorn
when I
movie.
saw it. Would Atlanteans attack the surface world if Superman was around? Thought it was implied they were doing that because Superman was dead. Ending here changes that. I don't remember Aquaman, I'm sorry, that well, so I can't say for sure that's the reason why. The impression I remember from Aquaman, just before we get back onto the Snyder Cut, is that it's not so much that Superman was dead, but that Aquaman's half-brother was just power hungry, and he wanted to bait the surface dwellers into a war so he could basically obtain more power in a way. That's the impression I got from it. But then again, I only saw the movie once.
Aquaman once. I mean, I say it's an entertaining film, right?
Yeah.
But they did kind of change the the interpretations when you get to Aquaman. The whole point with the whole surface thing, as far as the surface world thing, it's like Superman wasn't even part of the Aquaman story, to be quite honest. So they really was doing their own thing no continuity to the Snyder cut. So
yeah, so
that's
like
the short
that.
answer.
That's I like I said, I saw it once. It was it was a little bit better than middle of the road. I'm not trying to make it sound like it was like, I did not like it, but at the same time, I don't remember Superman ever being a part of the plot. It was just basically his half brother being power hungry. That's all I really remember. And then he was just trying to bait the surface dwellers.
I thought the Aquaman movie felt a lot like the second Ant-Man movie, which I also liked. But it was kind of like, it had similarities plot-wise, I thought.
Yeah, if
Jimmy
you were
Woo
around the
was in
Atlantis, wouldn't stand a chance. I agree there, but at the same time, Aquaman is not part of the Snyderverse, so it's like, who's to say that this offshoot Superman is still dead?
So, the Atlantis
or it has been regenerated, so he might still be dead here. So it's like we don't know.
Yeah,
it's a different offshoot.
Multiverse, baby.
Yeah, it's an offshoot. So that's how we're supposed to take it, because it wasn't part of Zack Snyder's original plan.
No.
Yeah, it probably doesn't fit at all now, and certainly the new Wonder Woman doesn't.
Oh my god.
We're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But JM 2021, should Patty Jenkins do Wonder Woman 3 or Zack Snyder? What I think should happen is, like with the first movie, and people kind of forget this, is Patty Jenkins just directed the first movie. The story is Zack Snyder, so people giving Patty Jenkins credits for the story are pretty much, in a way, dead wrong. So that's how I think they should do. Zack Snyder comes back and produces it. In a way, it gets a little like story credits, and Patty Jenkins shows her skill in getting the performances out of the actors. That's what I think. So,
Zack Snyder should do Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah, well, that is a drug dream. Wonder Woman 84 is a drug dream, and the third movie will be the sequel. So that's how we'll put it. $20 super chat from Slade Raider. Gotta go. Love the stream. Till next time. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you so much, Slade Raider. Thank you for stopping by. So,
when in Wonder Woman 84, when you see the arcade games at the mall, some of the games were released in 86.
Wishmaster 84.
Yeah,
I hate when that happens.
I saw that because Rampage was one of the games, and that's from 86. I knew that because I had I'd been reading up on old video games just before I watched the movie, actually.
Yeah.
Aquaman, yes, I'm not saying Aquaman doesn't take place after Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm just saying that, like Seal says, multiverse. So
it's not taking like the talk bubbles. That wasn't in Aquaman. That was in Zack Snyder's Justice League. When you throw the bubble up and you talk with Mara, you talk with Volko, William Dafoe. That was not in James Wan's Aquaman film. So he literally was doing something different than the continuity of the Snyder Cut. So it's cool, but it's different.
And
I think there's one way to. Oh, sorry.
Just to be fair to this comment real fast, the reason why it's all over the place is because of Warner Brothers. You don't have to like Zack Snyder, but Warner Brothers came in and basically messed everything up. So we would have had one continuity, and that would have been Zack Snyder's movies, and then they could have used the Flash as a flashpoint to open up the multiverse, which is what they're doing now. So they could have done that. So that's the reason why it's all over the place, is because Warner Brothers has their heads up their collective asses, and they got greedy, and this is the result of the DCEU, pretty much. But go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Well, if you, I think maybe you can fit Aquaman in there if you put it in between where Aquaman leaves Bruce Wayne and in Iceland and up until he arrives in that tunnel. So if you have the movie in between there, then it kind of fits. Like it did the movie in between. That's the only way it can fit, I think.
Right.
Which is, well, I agree here, Jay. It's essentially what I said. You should do the production and some of the writing, which is the story. While Zack Snyder didn't do the script of the first Wonder Woman movie, he did have the story layout. So basically, just come in, give like story ideas and so forth, and then have Patty Jenkins pull the performances out of the actors and actresses, like what she did with the first Wonder Woman film.
Yeah, 2017 Wonder Woman. That was perfect. Zack had his input. He laid the groundwork, and Patty did her thing. That was a good depiction of Wonder Woman.
Okay, so I know we're kind of all over the place in this discussion because it's not exactly a review, but let's, I guess, talk on one of the major scenes in this movie, and that is the history lesson. The history lesson where we see a la kind of Battle of the Five Armies in a way, the races of the earth. You have the Amazons, you have the Atlanteans, and you have the humans and the gods coming down to stand against. In Justice League, it was Steppenwolf, but in here, it's Darkseid, who is coming to turn Earth into another apocalypse, like his home planet. That's the point of the mother boxes.
Which is a little bit like the Tesseract.
Kind of, pretty much. But like,
I always got the impression that Marvel might have stolen some ideas from DC.
It lays waste to everything, and it turns the inhabitants into the parademons who serve Darkseid.
All right.
So, just to give my overall impressions real fast, I think one of my favorite parts in that is seeing Ares put on the helmet and be the badass god of war he is. You should have aimed for the head. I know that's a Marvel joke. Aimed for the head, but still awesome to see him like leap through the air as his shooting the lightning bolts from his hand.
That was awesome.
And Ares driving his axe down onto Darkseid. So, like, Steve, real fast. Like, what's your favorite part of the history lesson? What are your thoughts on that part?
I thought it set the whole thing up a lot better than the first movie did, and you got to see the villain do a shitload of damage, but you also got to see he is vulnerable. You know.
Yes.
But
that was interesting. Yeah.
Other than that, I just thought it was a good history lesson flashback scene. I wouldn't say it was the best I've ever seen, but it did the job very well.
And that's basically, as you said, a setup, because what was supposed to happen in the subsequent Justice League films, and that is you see the quote-unquote armies of the Earth banding together again.
Sounds like Endgame.
Yeah.
Oh, this is supposed to come first before Endgame. I'm just saying.
Yeah, coincidence.
I'm just saying Warner Brothers, or as we call them on Sub, we call them former brothers.
You see him in the history lesson with Green Lantern.
Yes, the Green Lantern. Yeah,
I understand the annoyance, Jeff the Iron Wolf. I really do, especially when Green Lantern is a big part of the Justice League. But at the same time, it's like I said,
Zack is going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, it's setting up the Justice League. So if one or two members is not exact, like Martian Manhunter barely was part of Justice League, and he's one of the main members of Justice League. Yeah. So it's setting up everything. So when you see the sequel, you'll have Martian Manhunter. And we'll see one of the Green Lanterns, and the speculation is John Stewart, because he is a fan favorite. He is a Green Lantern fan favorite. So, like I said, it's not a deal breaker for me necessarily, even though I understand where you're coming from.
Even Avengers had that problem, because wasn't Ant-Man one of the founding people of the Avengers?
Hank Pym, I believe, was, yes.
Yeah, Hank Pym, yeah.
So there you go. I mean, he was a founding member, and
he was nowhere to be found. Until the first Ant-Man movie. But no one had a problem with that. I'm not picking on the one in the chat, but I'm just saying, if we're talking about continuity, MCU takes liberties, and as long as it works, people are okay with it, right? The Snyder Cut works, it's okay without Green Lantern. We'll see what he does next,
I don't agree that he should have just been cut out. Like I said, we will see more of him in the sequels. Again, I can't really exactly beat this dead horse enough. It's a setup, so it's not. So it's like if you were to not show Martian Manhunter at least, and just like all of a sudden he appears in Justice League 2, then you'd be complaining about where was he in Justice League 1.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Think about this. Like, why would Zack even show a Green Lantern in a history lesson? You see what I'm saying? So he's literally going to set up more with Green Lantern. So yeah.
So Warner Brothers wouldn't let Zack have Lantern in the league. That's on the studio, not Zack. So
right, but they let him have it in the history lesson. That's what I'm trying to say. Like Zack is planning for more. Yeah.
They literally didn't give him a green light. for Green Lantern. Really?
The pun master strikes again. Yes, they did not give him the green light for the Green Lantern, pretty much. So, but I think that's probably when the history lesson happens. I think it's where the movie picks back up again. Again, I have to kind of go back and watch this movie because it is a lot to take in one 4 hours.
That's part
stretch.
2. You know, that's part 2, the history lesson.
Yes. So, like I said, like, you know, like basically part, like, you know, it picks back up and then it kind of plateaus and then picks back up and like really picks back up in like second half of the movie. But this is a movie where, to me at least, and yes, this is coming from a woman who can sit through the extended editions of Lord of the Rings, but at the same time, it's like this is a lot to take in a 1 4 hour stretch. So I kind of have to go back and watch each part and go, okay, this is what Zach is setting up here. This is what Zach's setting up here. And so forth, and picking out those things.
That's fair.
So, there you go, Stieg. Drew Deck Games loves pun. So there you go.
I mean, he's on to that. I wasn't prepared for this. Yeah,
He was in the first history lesson, but you saw more of him, at least a little bit more of him in Zack Snyder's the cut that we would have gotten, because in the history lesson of Justice League, you see him kind of flying around, but you don't see him clearly. And the next thing you see is him getting stabbed by what should have been Darkseid, but it's killed by Steppenwolf.
And I challenged. I think there was a different Green Lantern in Justice League.
So
I just throwed it out there.
I'd have to go back. I don't want.
I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to watch it.
I'd have to go back and watch it.
I look at a picture or something.
You don't. You see him clearly enough that you can tell it's a Green Lantern, but not clearly enough to say it's Yalan Gur, who's flying around. And again, it's Darkseid in that scene, not Steppenwolf, which is another thing that was changed with Joss.
That's a major change. Like my goodness.
I don't know. And then another major change is, I don't know. Okay, first off, why even take Darkseid out of that? It makes no sense because he's supposed to be the big bad. And secondly, it's like by taking out Darkseid, you take out Desaad as well, because Steppenwolf is talking to Desaad.
Desaad's a hoe.
Film, and Desaad.
I had no clue who that was.
Yeah, Desaad is kind of like right-hand man almost to Darkseid, and Desaad is basically Steppenwolf in his place.
You know what though? As a normie, I had no clue who Steppenwolf or Darkseid was, but the movie showed me enough to make me know who it was without having any prior knowledge, and that's a good job on the writers.
Yeah, we saw more of the Green Lantern in Zack Snyder, so we can clearly see who it's supposed to be.
He was dead. Holy shit, that one died. The Green Lantern fellow.
Yeah. He didn't make it.
No.
Chopped his hand off.
Which Green Lantern we want to see? Kyle Renner, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Simon Baz, or Jessica Cruz? I have a soft spot for Hal Jordan because my dad's favorite superheroes were Green Lantern and The Flash, so I kind of grew up a little bit with knowing Hal Jordan. But if I were to say, I'd say either John Stewart or Jessica Cruz. But I think it's going to be John Stewart.
Yeah, I think Zach wanted John Stewart, so I think he confirmed that too. But that's who it would have been. Yeah. So that's what I think that it's going to be. It's setting up, seeing that Green Lantern that we're going to see like actual Green Lantern be part of the Justice League. Now, how they introduce John Stewart, I don't know when exactly. I like John Stewart because of the military background. Like if Zach, keeps that backstory, like it'll be pretty cool if he goes all the way with that. But we'll see. Stuart Snyderverse.
There is technically Granny Goodness. She just doesn't have a line. She's in the scene where Steppenwolf's head gets like he's punched through the boom tube, and then Wonder Woman cuts his head off.
Shout out to Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman gave a granny head.
Yeah, has a sword and uses it.
Love Wonder Woman.
Granny Goodness is standing right there with Darkseid. So basically, when you see Granny Goodness there, that's an invading army. So
she has a Karen cut.
Yeah. So Darkseid is basically getting ready to invade because he essentially just flat out says it. Like, I gotta do this myself because like he
sounds like Thanos.
Jay? You know what she should have said though? When the corpse flies through the portal and the head falls off, just as it closes, Wonder Woman should have looked at Darkseid and said, "Heads up."
Oh, whoa. You going all the way with these puns. But didn't Darkseid have a chance to go through that boom tube? That's my theory I had in my last video. He had a chance, but he saw Superman eyeing him.
Yeah.
And he didn't want that smoke yet. Not yet.
Not
he
yet.
didn't want
Not
that smoke
quite
with Superman
yet.
yet.
Not quite
He
yet.
kind of plan what he's going to do with Superman.
She wasn't that small. If you're talking about the movie, she wasn't that small.
No, she wasn't that small.
She's not going to be as tall as Darkseid. But
as far as the scale, it's her and the side right next to Darkseid.
Yeah. The Zod looked smaller than Granny, in all honesty, in that scene. But I don't think she was.
She looked great, though. I like that she was just there. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like again, we'll see more of her. Like he's setting up these characters. So we got a lot more Desaad because his character was completely cut from Justice League, and he's an interesting character.
This is the first Justice League live action film ever. Okay, so it's only so much Zach has set up, and you know he needs a follow up after this.
Yeah, like when he crushed Steppenwolf's head, I was like, "Ooh, okay."
They hated Steppenwolf so much. Like, what did he do? He did something pretty heinous to get to that point.
Yeah, he'd be his own against Superman. So he saw Superman. He was like, "I'm not messing with a Kryptonian."
He didn't come through that boom tube, did he? I just watched it before I came on the stream. He had like a good 10, 15 seconds to walk through that boom tube and throw hands with Superman. He didn't want that smoke yet. Not yet. Probably part 2.
So again, setting it up like these are your criticisms. I'm not taking anything away from those. These are your opinions, but at the same time, it's like, would it have mattered if she had said something really in that scene? I don't think so. I really don't think so. It doesn't detract really at all from that scene.
It's a good.
What are the chances, though, of more Snyder stuff from the DC universe?
I think it's high.
I think right now, given the audience score, like. Not giving any credence to Rotten Tomatoes, but given the fact that the audience score is sitting at 96%.
That's insane.
Right now.
In comparison, Jade, BVS was in the 70s for audience.
Yeah.
You see, so there were DC fans that were split on BVS. And I understand the arguments with that, like the depictions, whatever. This is a whole other level. This film's a whole different level right now.
Yes. So, and also... You'd have to also take into account an overhaul of the suits running Warner Brothers, because the however you feel about Zack Snyder and what happened during the charity stream on Wednesday, the fact is that he was also, at least up until the point of him announcing the movie, had to deal with all that shit from Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And so forth. So for him to come back, it had to be like a change of leadership, or at the very least, AT&T stepping in and going, you report directly to us and HBO Max or Warner Media, not to the Warner Brothers executive. So we are the ones going to be providing you with the budget you need for a sequel, pretty much. So
yeah,
and the promise of no interference, like what happened with BVS and Justice League.
That's sort of my take. Just to touch on just briefly what you touched on, and to let you continue what you want to do. It's kind of showing that they're planning more for Zach, because they gave him a company line when he came on that stream the other night. So just keep that in mind, that they are still working with Zach, because they're kind of still making him say certain things publicly. Just throwing it out there.
Someone pointed out that what's his name? Someone else had to do a disclaimer, and it was identical.
Kevin Smith, if you're talking about like the premiere afterwards. So not really touching on that whole situation, but yeah, so like it should be resolved. I'm going to just say this before we move on. It should be resolved, hopefully, in short order, because yes, it does not look good, but at the same time, it's hopefully it can get resolved and we can move on pretty much. But yes, like Warner Brothers did screw the pooch in spectacular fashion, and we are seeing that.
The fact that this film is showing like this burned Warner Brothers so hard, where they have to capitulate at this point. Like, dude, Zach is the key.
Isn't there talk about IMAX release as well?
all I know is as of now, it's going to be released on physical medium. So like Blu-ray, things like that. That way.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, Warner Media, whatever, were smart. Even for a limited run, announced an IMAX release for the summertime when
I think
more
the fact
theaters are
that
open.
I think the fact that Zach shot it for IMAX format and IMAX, and we can't take too much credence on tweets and retweets, but the main IMAX account did like kind of retweet what Zach said about his IMAX format. They wanted to show, it is a pandemic right now, so there's a situation going on. So.
Oh yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see the Blu-ray sales though, because I think they're going to be very high.
Right.
Oh
because
yeah,
I seem to remember the BVS Blu-ray sales were very high as well.
I would like to see Grail. That was speculation that she would be in it. She was not in it, but who knows? She might show up in like the second or third movie. So
yeah, it was a fake script out there saying Grail and Hal Jordan was in this film. So they got exposed. Whoever Supers was pushing that, but the physical media, I would love, like Stig just said, I would love this physical media of this film. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people like Frank the Bunny here. Oh, I'm buying it day one. Can't wait. So pretty much. I think there's like a lot.
That's a lot.
This one in 4K has to be awesome.
Because you think of the streaming, because like I get it that HBO Max says, hey, we're streaming this in the highest quality possible. But streaming, it has buffers. Like if people don't realize this, if you're streaming, you're trying to stream 4K, it doesn't hold that level the entire film. It doesn't. Physical media does. So that I'm a real, proponent for physical media. So
and kind of going back to the movie, now that we've kind of brought up, we'll touch on Steppenwolf after this, but bringing up the fact, Superman being there when Darkseid is looking through the boom tube. Like, let's talk about Superman essentially for at least a little bit. Like, being brought back to life and having to have his first flight 2.0. What did you both think of the reintroduction of Kal-El? Because before he regains his memories as Clark Kent, he's Kal-El in that moment. So what are your thoughts on that whole scenario? Starting with you, Stig. The reintroduction of Superman in this movie.
I thought it was done well. I had a discussion on Twitter with someone that's saying that the lasso should have worked on him. I argued that it probably wouldn't because he doesn't know the truth at that time.
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
So and he's basically in reaction mode. There's nothing in his head until he sees Lois. Which I thought it was done well. If someone knows more about that lasso than I do, which is probably most people, and I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But
in a way, you're right, because yes,
you have a good take. Yeah,
the lasso does compel you to tell the truth, but if you don't know the truth at that point, what are you going to say?
Yeah,
because like I said, at that point, he's Kal-El.
He's pure Kryptonian at that point.
He's pure Kryptonian. He's relearning how to control his powers. Because you see him he's getting overwhelmed at one point, seeing the X-ray vision, seeing it
takes him a moment, right? He kind of focuses in.
Takes him a moment, yes, because he's getting bombarded with all these sounds because he's the X-ray vision and so forth, and he's in a way lashing out almost like a cornered animal. And I'm not trying to reduce Superman to that,
right?
Reactionary
thing.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good analogy.
Yeah, my Superman growing up was Christopher Reeve. That's my Superman. But after having seen Cavill in this one, especially with the scene in the fields and all, I'd put Cavill up there next to Christopher Reeve.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? In the fields.
Yeah. My only complaint about Cavill is that he, for some reason, he keeps putting his face on my workout videos, and I don't like it.
That took a turn.
Oh, I mean, it's up to you if you want to sue him or not, Steeg. But
It's a very uncool thing to do.
yes,
That's hilarious, man.
remind him of the bro code, Steeg. Remind him of that.
Oh man.
But yeah, so like so, and I know like some people are nitpicking the fact that both Batman and Lois say Clark, which I can kind of understand. I can kind of understand you don't exactly want to name drop his alter identity in a sense, but at the same time, it's like probably the people there that are ducking Humvee are probably not going to remember like one name that's a shout out.
Yeah,
It was actually, when Batman arrives, when Superman's going crazy, and he's standing there, and he's not wearing that armor; he's just wearing the suit, and you can tell Batman standing there and going, "Shit, I am fucked."
he didn't have that look. Like this ain't BBS.
You know, he has nothing he can do to stop him. He's
want to plea to him at that point.
It was like a deer in the headlights, right?
It was. It's kind of poetic though, as Lois and BVS save Superman from dying at Batman's hands, and she saves Batman from dying at Superman's hands in Justice League. So
what was the key?
And I will say this: thank God the definitely something bleeding line was taken.
Oh my!
Moved.
Did it cross your mind, Jade, when because I avoided all spoilers. Only what Zach showed us on Vero. We knew a lot about the film going into it, right? And Justice League butchered, Zach's actual story. So we saw part of his story in 2017. So when we get to the Heroes Park, and you saw Superman fighting towards Batman, I was like, we're not going to see that same line, right? Like, we're not going to see. And I was like, thankfully.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thankfully.
There was one like part in that I got a kick out of that was pretty much I don't want to say pure comic relief, and that was when Aquaman is going after Superman, but it's slow motion down because you see the Flash going after him. Well, but Superman is quick, so he can see the Flash coming.
Size the
Flash runs into Aquaman, and then you see them like the aftermath or like kind of brush against like this, like like stairs or whatever, and all Aquaman does is point at the Flash.
That's a meme right now. I saw someone use it as a meme. That's
I did see someone use it as a meme, and I did get a kick out of that with Flash going, "I am so sorry."
Well, that little scene where
I did like that.
Flash is about to attack Superman really fast, and he sees Superman's eye turn around, and you realize it's shit.
I love that scene, and like, man,
I'm screwed, right?
In 2017, I was like, that had to be Zach's shot because I watched Justice League twice, right? So I was like, that's Zach's shot. No one else does it but Zach. Like, this is a badass moment. And that was a badass moment. That was like you said, Jay, that was Kal-El unhinged. And he was like, oh no, I see you creeping up super speed. I can match this, so that was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I did like that part because I'm not saying Flash was cocky, but at the same time, it's like with his super speed, he does have a bit of overconfidence to him because he doesn't think he's not going to see me. And Kryptonian is like, bitch, please. I'm faster.
Clark's like what? Like, I'm looking right at you.
I'm faster. Faster than speed.
I love that look. That's why Cavill's Superman to me. Like, he is our generation Superman. Give him more films. Like, dude, he embodies it. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, he wants to do it, and like they're trying to announce this Black Superman and do it. Cool, like multiverse, right? Do whatever you want to do, but give me more Cavill. I want more Cavill as Superman.
Do both. I mean, people are going to pick both.
Yeah. You got Superman and Lois on CW. You can do 4 or 5 Supermans if you want, but I want more Cavill. I want more Cavill. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're. I don't know. But
I don't know. Is that in the comics? Because I know that's in Wishmaster 84, but at the same time, it's like I don't think that's part of Justice League. And even then, it wasn't around Superman long enough for him to get any members.
Right, but Zach didn't establish that as his continuity.
Yeah,
because Zach killed Jimmy Olsen, right? In the first scene that he was in, so Zach could do whatever he wants with his continuity. So that wasn't a part of it.
Wow, Drew That Games was first Batman Returns. Well, it could be worse. It could be worse. I did enjoy Batman Returns, but it could be worse. Your first one could have been Batman and Robin. So.
If it was Batman, if your first Batman and Robin, like I feel sorry for you.
Lord Understatement, hey, good evening.
Hey.
To be honest, Flash at that point can't run as fast as he's truly capable of. Agreed, because he has not broken the Speed Force yet.
At the end, though.
Yeah, at the end he does, but at that moment, he's not at his peak.
He wasn't ready for Kal-El.
Yeah,
he wasn't ready for that moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not ready for that moment at all, and you see it in his eyes. Basically, he's turning around.
I love that though. Yeah.
The only one I don't like in this verse is Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I can't stand him.
I want to see where he goes.
I don't like the actor. The actor is a douche, and it looks like he's playing himself in every movie.
Well, okay, I could see that. I could see that impression. I give him a little bit of leeway, and yes, I know you don't like BVS, but at the same time, it's also Lex's origin.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, but I mean,
I do understand where people come from, where they say Michael Rosenbaum is a good Lex Luthor in Smallville. That's a good origin story, and I will give you that. I do like Michael Rosenbaum's take as Lex Luthor in Smallville, but it's all subjective impressions. I want to see where Lex goes in.
It was an arc, right? It was a overarching arc.
I mean, he had a jar of piss, and he made it boring. How do you make a jar of piss boring in a movie?
Like again,
you can have so much fun with a jar of piss, and
he's not the Lex Luthor we know. Basically, like I said, it's his origin.
Well,
so.
I mean, there's a comic run that has this Lex Luthor, like what Jesse Eisenberg played. Mm-hmm. There is a comic book origin to it, but it's not as well known as classic Lex Luthor. Mm-hmm. Gene Hackman. You know what I'm saying? Mustache twirling Lex Luthor. So it was a little different. So I get it.
Yeah, I'm saying like I'm willing. Like I'm not saying this to say that I disagree with everything that's being said about Lex Luthor, like this Lex's origins, because it's subjective. I'm not judging it as harshly as other people are now, just because I want to see where he takes the character. Mm-hmm. I also want to see where he takes him in the sequels, and if he gives no indication that he's going to become the Lex Luthor that we know later on, who is the intellectual mastermind that is Superman's arch enemy, pretty much, then I will then this Lex sucks. Pretty much, I will say that.
If a villain like
I'm just willing to give him a chance.
A villain like Lex Luthor needs to be played by an actor with a tremendous presence. Eisenberg doesn't have any.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a fair criticism, though. That is actually fair. I mean, Bryan Cranston would have been great, which was the first rumored idea for the Lex.
Oh yeah,
but, that would have been. I mean, Bryan Cranston's a win, anyway, just like Jeremy Irons. But so I get the criticism with that. That's fair. It's fair.
I would have liked what's his name? The guy who plays Agent Smith, Hugo Weaving, to play Lex Luthor.
That's just a win, period. You put Hugo Weaving in the film, like I'm gonna like it. Like,
Yeah.
Come on now. That's not
the guy
fair.
can do anything.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's not fair.
He was wasted in Godzilla 2014.
Oh my god. How do you waste Bryan Cranston?
I don't know. They found a way to do it. They
really did. Unbelievable.
But there it is. But like I said, I can see that criticism. I'm not discounting that criticism, because I can see it. Like the one comment I highlighted where his throwing his acting skills, like with Michael Cera, it's like I don't like I really like that actor.
I like that.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Uh-oh.
Gal Gadot is a shit actress. She has charisma, but that's not the same as acting ability.
True.
But in this movie, though, I thought she was great. She did nothing wrong. I thought she was excellent in this one.
Badass. That's why.
But I don't like her.
No.
I really don't.
Man, we was good up to that point until you said those words that you don't like.
Yeah, I just
Gal Gadot,
crushed
Wonder Woman.
everyone's.
You crushed me.
Yeah,
me.
I destroy people. That's what I do.
He pretty much does. That's
You're
like
a world destroyer.
I work for Darkseid, and I'm way more effective.
Like if he goes to bed knowing that he's crushed one soul emotionally,
That hurt.
then he's happy.
That actually hurt. Yeah. That was
Well, you know, I'm from Norway. I'm supposed to be blunt.
You liked Wonder Woman when you first saw her in this film. You liked that scene. I'm not going to let you lie to yourself.
No, she was excellent in this one. I just think she's shit in the other ones.
That's okay. We're gonna focus on this one. You liked her in this film, so I'm gonna take that.
That was my point. In this one, I thought she was excellent in this one.
Yeah,
everyone.
Let's stay in the now. Stay in the now. Yeah. Don't go.
I will give you this about Jesse Eisenberg. Like I said, I'm willing to give him a chance. Jared Leto, on the other hand, yes, I will give you that. I'm not saying
he was good.
Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm like. Let me say, I'm in Studio Squad, which is like what people base this off of.
Yeah.
I'm willing to. He's another one I'm willing to give a chance because he got screwed over by the studios when they came in and butchered David Ayer's take for Suicide Squad, and I want to release the air cut trending on Twitter at some point because I think he definitely got screwed over. So when you look at his take of the character, that's not the performance that Jared Leto was giving in the original
Studio Squad
of Suicide Squad. This version that you see in Justice League, take it for what you will. I loved his portrayal and just that little back and forth between him and Batman. Like that is Clown Prince of Crime.
I was laughing my ass off when I saw that because I was fresh off of some streams with you guys, and all of you were saying, "Oh yeah, that's it's all in his head. He's just seeing the Joker and he's not really there and stuff because he's killed him, and then he's really there."
He's really there. yeah, that's a real future.
Yeah, I was like, I have to not spoil this for them, right?
Yeah, some people agree with you. Some people agree with you pretty much. Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna say
acting job seems a little work.
I'm not gonna say Gal Gadot's like a world class like actress, but no, she has a good presence as Wonder Woman. When Zach is directing her, she has a great performance. As a Wonder Woman. So, I mean, it is what it is.
And like now that we've basically brought up the Joker, and I think we'll just about end on this and maybe talk about like I said, there's like a 4-hour movie. And we're trying to get this discussion in like an hour and 45 minutes.
We're not even close to it.
No, I'll definitely be talking more about this on Geek Blend stream. So if you're up still, you can see like more discussion. Going on Geek Blend's channel, but I loved the back and forth. Like, you don't have to necessarily like this interpretation of Joker, but I actually did love it, and I want to see where Jared Leto was going to take this Joker. Love the back and forth between him and Batman, because you see the Joker trying to get into Batman's head. Yes, they're technically on the same side, but the Joker's still the Joker, and he's working his little verbal barbs on Batman. When he's asking him, how many dead eyes do you have to look into? Exactly. How many like this? How many of this? And then Batman turns it right back on him when he says, "When I held Harley Quinn dying in my arms."
Her one request
was like, for me to kill you and do it slowly. I will.
I will fucking kill you.
You see the Joker pause like that.
I've never seen that before in a Joker character.
Yes.
That was,
and he paused like long enough for you see that statement, both mention of Harley Quinn and what Batman was going to do to him, like
that got to him
right there. It got to him. But then
the fact that Batman said I will kill you. I will fucking kill you. Yeah. That got to Joker.
It got to Joker. And then Clown Prince of Crime. Take it for what we will. He goes back to laughing because he's not the most sane person. So he's not exactly going to, and he goes, "You're good.
Yep,
you're good," and things like that. And then when Superman's not evil here, people. When he flies down, he's being corrupted. So we'll go into that a little bit later. Most likely on Geek Blend stream, but Joker laughs. I'm like,
I love
he's
that.
Not normal.
I love that. Like everyone's like worried. Like even Bruce is worried. Like, oh shit! Like this is like this is Dark Side controlled Superman jumping down. Everyone's worried, but Joker laughs, which is on character.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Did anyone mind the very subtle interactions between Bat and Diana? Not as heavy-handed as Justice League animated, but not exactly a bad thing. I didn't mind. Like,
it's a thing.
Yeah, they kind of like hinted at that.
That's what Zach wants to do. Yeah, he wants
they
to
hinted at it at PBS, so I'm not really. I can see
hashtag WonderBat. That's what's going on right now.
There you go. So Leto got redeemed.
Come on, he wants to.
Cesar Romero, best Joker ever. I mean, he definitely puts the clown and the Clown Prince of Crime. Put it that way.
Heath Ledger's still the best, though. I mean, Leto can get there if he gets a full performance. If they let him, then we'll see. But Heath Ledger's still the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Joker has never been on Batman's side. Joker's always on Joker's side. The way the scene is set up, I can still see it that way. Because it's kind of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend at this point. They're co-belligerents, so not exactly allies, I would say, in this scene, because you have Batman literally telling him, I will kill you.
Yeah.
You won't say that to an ally.
You got Manganiello there. You got Deathstroke right there. Like, something is a bigger threat than their whatever they disagree with each other. They're like, okay, this is like mankind surviving.
Hey, comic chat. No, I have not seen the fan film yet. I've not had time to see the fan made video yet. I've heard good things about it, but I will definitely.
I actually have. It has like a couple million views, so I have to watch it now.
I'm with Trey here. Nicholson for me. Call it whatever, but Nicholson, I loved his live action portrayal because I thought he was the perfect blend of serious and clown Prince of Crime.
I loved it.
To me, Heath Ledger was a bit too serious.
Okay.
And Cesar Romero, why so serious? And Cesar Romero is a bit too clown. So like you want kind of a good.
No, Cesar Romero, he fit the 60s, so that was great. But it only comes down between Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger. Leto's not there yet until he gets a full run. If we get the air cut, maybe we have a different discussion with Leto, but he's not there yet. Yeah. I love Leto, but he's not there yet.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet, but like I said, it was like Ezra Miller with The Flash. I wanted to see what we were originally supposed to see, and what we were originally supposed to see with the Joker was not what we got with the air cut, because there's supposed to be more Joker in that film. There was supposed to be different scenes shot. So I want to see what David Ayer is going to give us with that character before I actually make up my mind entirely where he stands in the rankings.
Yeah, I'm really undecided with Leto. Yeah, like, I love this scene though, like because that throws people off when I say that. It's like I love Leto, his depiction. Like, I mean, we saw kind of two different depictions now. The short, what we saw in Air in the Studio Squad, as you said. I love how you say that. And then this short clip in Zack Snyder's Justice League. We still haven't got enough of Leto to rank him. I mean, I just don't have enough.
Not nearly enough. As it stands now, he would kind of be a little bit low for me, but at the same time, that's not a fair assessment of the performance he would have given.
Yeah, there's no knock. It's just it's an incomplete assignment right now.
So, and like this is again like whatever like your opinions are. If you like Heath, I'm cool with that. Like
he owns the room. Yeah, when Heath Ledger walks into that room in Dark Knight, and that's the first time I saw Dark Knight in IMAX. He like owned that scene, and there's a whole pencil. I'm gonna kill this guy, and then Heath Ledger owns it, man. I'm sorry.
Superman in this movie, it kind of hit me though. He starts off dead, and then he's out of control, and then he's Superman again, and then he's evil. I mean, too many.
Well, he's
Superman
not evil.
Jumps.
First, that's in the nightmare sequence. That's if basically Darkseid wins, and that's the scenario that plays out where they have to turn back time to save humanity. Like if Darkseid were to win, he's not.
I thought
evil.
that was a multiverse thing that they had accidentally unleashed because of the
That
Flash.
was a premonition.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
premonition. It was a premonition.
Yeah.
That's like what
'cause
would happen. That's
the Cyborg had the same one basically. Where
yeah, that's why they call it the nightmare sequence. Basically, it's a
Right.
premonition. But at the same time, it's Superman is not evil. He's not evil Superman in this.
No.
He's been corrupted by the anti-life equation. So,
Yeah.
aka corrupted by Darkseid. So he's not himself evil.
Right.
He's been corrupted, like I said, by the anti-life equation and by the death of a certain someone that was brought up in the nightmare sequence. Lois.
Major.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's major.
That is pain and anguish that's driving him, and along with the corruption in this scene.
That takes from the comics too.
Yeah.
Like the Injustice run, like when Lois dies, Superman snaps. I mean, that's a comic lore, you know. So yeah,
Lois slain.
Yeah. Yeah. God. So it's not Superman. It's not just Superman turning evil. It's like basically a combination of a lot of things that's driving Superman to be that way.
Who comes up with these puns like this? Yeah. Has he said that before? Lois slain?
Not that I've heard, but that
was freestyle. My God,
yeah. He does freestyle.
Clark can't save her.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, there you go. So basically, it's a combination of things that makes him that way and turn on his allies essentially, and
well, it's both sides of that, right, Jay? Because we see, like you said, the nightmare, despair, Superman, but then we see Kal-El that's sort of like Smallville. If people watch that show, Smallville, when Clark is Kal-El, straight Kryptonian, he's just all about survival and just you're a threat. He's not evil. He, just Justice League rolled up on him as Kal-El, so he's like, okay, I'm y'all a threat,
Yeah.
So he wasn't evil in that Hero Spark scene. So, yeah.
In a way, yes, but at the same time, it's you have different ages of these heroes. So there are comic lines, like Sil pointed out, where Superman does snap. Now, whether or not you subjectively agree with that and like it, that's basically your prerogative. But to say if there's only one version of Superman and this is going against that, no, this is not.
No.
So this is kind of like Christopher Reeve Golden Age Superman, where I could see this, but this is based on Superman post Golden Age. So if you don't like it, then
Zach draws from New 52 more than other eras. I mean, just hate it or love it. Zack Snyder likes, coincidentally, Scott Snyder's run in the DC, which mixes in Superman. Scott Snyder's more Batman, but the whole point is that New 52 has a Superman who, he'll punch first and ask questions later. That's what the era is. So that's what Zach was using. So,
So, like I say, love it or hate it. That's where he's drawing from. So if you
New 52 is terrible. Yeah, he had a good point. You like the Court of Owls, right? You can't say you didn't like the Court of Owls.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's there's good and bad in New 52.
Yeah, you can't just throw away the whole New 52. You can't.
So
people do that, but I no.
But there it is, and real fast, because in 10 minutes I do have to be on Geekblend stream. Real fast thoughts on Steppenwolf, because he was also shafted big time in Justice League. So, Steve, what are your thoughts on Steppenwolf in this?
In this one, he was an actual character because he had motivation. There was none of that really, except for being a big bad in the previous one, and you could kind of sympathize with him a little bit. I thought he was an actual threat, especially when we saw him fight the Amazons. That was good. They had a villain that was an actual threat, and he did a good job. And
he didn't come across as just a costume, basically wearing a costume with a British accent, which I got from.
Did he seem like Liam Neeson in CGI? Is that what he? No, he didn't feel like.
Kind of,
that's what 2017 felt like.
Yeah,
Liam Neeson.
Yeah. I almost expected him to break for afternoon tea at some point. That's not villain. It doesn't scream villain.
It's I'm not feeling that.
Well,
this is a real villain.
According to according to Jeremy Irons, it depends on how you make that tea. If you do it wrong, then you're indeed a villain.
I swear.
Yes,
this
there you
guy,
go.
He's always on. He's always ready. But no, yeah, Steppenwolf was a worthy villain. Like I said, the backstory, we saw that he portrayed Darkseid somehow. Like, is that another tie-in story somewhere? Am I going to get like a comic book about that? Like, I would take anything to know, like, what did Steppenwolf do to portray Darkseid to exile him, right?
Basically exile him and tell him that you have to do this to like 50,000 more
50,000 worlds. He's like, I'm trying to do Earth, motherfucker.
It was literally in the world of hurt.
I got one Earth.
He's like, wow, like what did you do to piss Darkseid off that much? Where he's like, you have 50,000 more worlds to conquer.
He took his girl
back in my.
That's all Steppenwolf could have done to that level. He took Darkseid's girl. That's what happened.
He probably used the wrong pronouns on.
We'll see. Yeah, probably. Yeah, he misgendered Darkseid. That's the sin right there. But about 10 minutes, I do have to jump on a Geekblend stream, and I want to start wrapping it up here. Like I said, still, if you are still up, Geekblend's channel. It's spelled like how it sounds, Geekblend. The High Ground stream I will be on, talking more about Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I want to thank my guests for coming on and giving basically our thoughts on what we could in the span of time we had on a 4-hour-long film. So thank you so much for coming on. So Stieg, let me know and everything, all that good. I cut out.
Well, I'm just filling in for Stephanie for today. So I dedicate all I said to Stephanie. I was stepping in for Stephanie. Anyway, who also played Steppenwolf. Anyway, she's actually in rehab for having ingested too much DC lately, but she'll be tip top tomorrow.
Yeah.
Other than that, go sub it to Stephanie because she's started a new channel and she's trying to get that one monetized.
Because YouTube screwed her over with her first channel.
Yeah, I'm like what the fuck? Like what happened?
Yeah. Well, first off, they don't do anything to her channel for a year, no matter how many times she tried contacting them. And then when they do say, "Oh, congratulations, you are monetized," they screw up something again on their end. So she's not monetized. So she started a new channel. So it's I will put. Sorry, I'd have to try to find it, but I will definitely put her link in the High Grounds chat. But it's it's. Did you change this to My Nerdy Home or? Yeah, I think you changed it to My Nerdy Home. So, well, I will try to find.
I'm sure it'll pop up if they search that.
Yeah, let me see. I'm subscribed to her, so let me find that.
D Johnson in the chat. What's up?
Other than that, I'm on Sporking News podcast on Mondays talking about the Game of Thrones books. We're doing chapter by chapter stuff. It's a lot of fun. And then on Thursdays, I'm on OG Star Wars talking about old Star Wars comics.
Cool. You got the House of Dragons coming up, Stieg. You excited about that?
I'm waiting for the book.
Okay.
That's.
I heard that. I heard that. Like that was.
I might be waiting for a long time for that book, but I'm a patient man and I don't give up. But we'll see. Other than that, I'm not really a YouTuber. I just have a silly little channel with some old commercials and stuff on it. So go up to Step.
I made the top 5, and he knows the GIF I sent him to run fast, run far.
Yeah.
Tim F in the chat. What's up?
Yes.
I do believe I compared her to a dishwasher.
I don't know where my mods are, Subhuman. They're elsewhere. But it's right now. I'm not complaining too much, but still let everybody know about your channel, anything you have coming up.
Yes, so Celebdo Inc. On YouTube, and also at Celebdo Inc. on Twitter. DC Snyder Hardcore, F Warner Brothers Hardcore. So if they keep messing up, we'll keep putting out videos about them. I'm sort of like the Ryan Kennel version of like, hey, hi, it's a Naughty Dog. I'm kind of like that towards Warner Brothers. So give you the best impression of of my videos.
So there you go. Basically, end on the
Shout out to Ronnie Kendall.
for the Snyderverse. Fuck Warner Brothers.
Yes,
So on
that's where we're at.
Yeah. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping by for another weekly edition of Talk Nerdy to Us. Like I said, I will be on the high ground in about 4 minutes talking more Snyder Cut discussion. So tune into that if you're still up. Yes. Good night. See you all next week. Maybe more talk about Snyder Cuts. Definitely more pop culture news because as it is right now in the world, there's a lot of stupidity and cringe in pop culture that we will be talking about. So, again, 10 p.m. Eastern next week. See you all then. So, good night. Take care. And thank you to my guests again. See you all later. Bye-bye.
Good night.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.